Breaking and stunning news from Johnson County. The Franklin College president fired. What we're learning about the reason why.
We're working to get answers tonight for residents dealing with flooding in a North Side apartment complex.
And moms demanding action. Their message to state lawmakers to make our communities and our country safer.
This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Breaking news tonight from Franklin College in Johnson County. The president of the college is out.
Yeah, Dr. Thomas Miner was fired on Saturday after his arrest in Wisconsin for online child solicitation. He was already planning to leave the university this year, but not like this. The Franklin Board of Trustees Executive Committee took the action after the college was notified by the Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin Police Department of Dr. Thomas Miner's recent arrest. He's accused of use of a computer to facilitate a sex crime, child enticement, and exposing a child to harmful materials and narrations. He was released on bond and ordered to have no direct contact with minors unless supervised and not to use social media. Dr. Miner became the 16th president of Franklin College in 2015. He came to the private liberal arts college from American University in Washington, D.C. He announced in June his plan to step down from the post of president at the end of June of this year. In addition to details of the arrest, the college released a statement which says, in part, the Franklin College Board of Trustees is stunned by this event. This is the first such incident the board has been made aware of regarding Dr. Miner, and the board is fully committed to cooperating fully with Wisconsin authorities and working to ensure the safety of our campus community. The college has launched its own investigation into Dr. Miner's conduct while president. The Board of Trustees is expected to appoint an acting president early this week. A tip led Plainfield police to a man who they say was molesting a 5-year-old girl in an SUV. Police arrested 26-year-old Matthew Woolard last Monday after getting a call about a suspicious vehicle. Police say they found Woolard and a girl in the back seat. They say Woolard later confessed to molesting the girl. He was arrested for child molestation, public indecency, and public nudity. Police say this is a good reminder of when you see something, say something. They say this may have gone unnoticed had someone not called in the tip.
Tonight, it's more than just an inconvenience for people who live in a Northside apartment complex. The flooding in the parking lot has left them not only frustrated, but also facing costly repairs for cars that were damaged by this high water. We told you over the weekend about the problem at the Waterside Apartments at Castleton near 82nd and Hague. Now, residents there reached out to us for help, and today we returned to the management office to get answers. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum found out walkways are still flooded, and she's looking into how this mess is impacting tenants there.
It's been 2 days since this parking lot flooded, and today it still looks like this.
It's been extremely frustrating, The
water is so high, residents tell us you can't even see where the sidewalk and steps to their building are, causing a dangerous and messy situation. The apartment complex sits next to a large pond, but people who live here say they've never seen flooding to this extent. Those we spoke with say they're having a hard time getting any answers from management, and they say that is the most frustrating part.
We are good paying customers. We pay every month on time, a pretty significant amount, some of us. And so, I don't think communication is a lot to ask for.
Others went to the office today to get answers, but weren't happy with what management had to say.
That they had no idea why it happened and they can't control Mother Nature.
We tried getting answers from a manager at the leasing office, but were directed to the Musing Management's corporate office. I tried calling that office and stopping by, but they declined to comment on what happened and what's being done to help residents. RTV6 found out the pond has a drainage pipe that leads to land owned by the Indiana Department of Transportation. After we called INDOT this morning, they sent a crew out to make sure there was not a blockage or other issue on their land. They sent us these photos showing the water running freely. Now, those living here say they just hope something is done before the next rainfall.
The immediate concern is that we'll get slammed again before a solve is coming into place.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And right now, it is still unclear who owns that drainage pipe in question. We will continue to stay on top of this story and bring you updates as we get them. And remember, if you are experiencing a problem and you do not know how to get it solved, connect with RTV6 and we will see if there's anything we can do. Call or send us a message at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Now time for your Storm Team 6 forecast. We had a great start to the work week here, but the sun finally tried to peek out this afternoon.
And most importantly, as you're hinting, it was dry. And as the gentleman mentioned in that story, they want to get the problem fixed before you get slammed with rain again.
Right.
What I can tell you is we've got 2 opportunities for rain this week. Wednesday's not a significant rain. Friday and Saturday, we may see another 1 to 2 inches of rain. That has been the story of the month, just under 4 inches of rain so far. Typically, we would have snow in January. We've had just a trace. I show you the radar just to give you confidence and for variety. We've been focused on the radar here for several days, but this dry weather lasts really into Wednesday morning. Wednesday, rain should be light, not a big deal. Temperatures, when they get close to average, we think it's cold. 41 is the current temperature, 38 in Lafayette, 37 in Peru, a little closer to the metro area. Everybody around 40 degrees, and temperatures will be slow to change this evening. Wind out of the southeast, clouds hanging in there. We're dry and 38 at 10 o'clock tonight.
And members of Moms Demand Action descended on the State House today to let lawmakers know they are united in the fight against gun violence. The women dressed in red want to find ways to end violence, not just in Indiana, but across the country. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson has more from the State House.
Hundreds of mothers came together here at the State House with Moms Demand Action to let lawmakers know what bills are important to them as they head into the legislative session.
I just couldn't sit on the sidelines and say, golly gee, I hope somebody fixes this.
Kathy Weinman joined the group Moms Demand Action 5 years ago.
I know from my own experience that if you're going to change something, you have to try to do it yourself.
She wants to see changes to Indiana gun laws, not for herself, but for her children and her grandchildren. According to the Centers for Disease Control, in 2017, firearms were the #2 killer of children and teens in the United States.
Now, you think about that and you think, you mean beyond cancer and diabetes and heart disease and birth defects? Yes, gun violence. #2 killer across the board.
The plan today at the State House for Moms Demand Action was to be seen and heard by lawmakers.
We could make phone calls and send letters and get our message across. But being there in that State House, especially in our red T-shirts, is very powerful and makes a lasting impression.
Weinman says they want to make sure lawmakers really understand the bills that they're voting on in relation to gun violence.
Whether I'm successful or not, whether our group is successful or not, or to what degree we're successful, only time will tell. But at least I can look at my grandchildren and say, I'm trying.
Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And Weinman says what she wants to see passed is a law concerning safe storage for guns. Senator Mark Stoops of Bloomington authored Senate Bill 29, which would require guns to be secured if a child could gain access to it. If someone lives in the home who is prohibited from possessing a firearm, and if someone lives in the home who possesses an imminent risk to themselves or others, a hearing date has not been set.
Now to Democracy 2020 and the race for the president. The field in the running for the Democratic nomination shrinks again. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker today dropped out of the race. Booker had struggled in polling and fundraising since launching his bid last February. He failed to qualify for the December primary debate as well as the one tomorrow. Booker's departure leaves a field that was once the most diverse in history with just one remaining African-American candidate, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick.
The Butler men's basketball team continues its climb in the national college rankings, reaching another new high. The Bulldogs are ranked 5th in the new AP Top 25 pullout today. That's a spot higher than their previous record high last week. The Bulldogs are coming off a big win over Providence on the road Friday. The Bulldogs host Seton Hall Wednesday at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Congratulations to them.
A warning tonight as a popular sweepstakes launches a new round of big money prizes. Ahead on the Now Indy at 5:30, the scam to watch out for that has already targeted some households.
They lit up the big screen over the past year, but which movies are in the running for Oscars? The nominations are set, and we've got a closer look with one of Hollywood's top insiders coming up.
And if you've been wondering where winter, and more specifically January, has been, our focus will be on colder temperatures late in the weekend into early next week. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Donate to Goodwill.
A royal summit in England today with Queen Elizabeth as chief negotiator. Today, she brokered a deal to secure the future of the monarchy while charting a course for Prince Harry and his wife Meghan to step back as senior royals. Their wish after the stunning announcement they made last week with little warning to the Queen. ABC's Julia McFarlane has more now from London.
The highly anticipated meeting of the royal family at Sandringham today ended with a statement from the Queen. In it, she expressed her support for her grandson Prince Harry and his wife Meghan and their wishes to live a more independent life. Though, in a rare personal remark, she admits she, quote, would have preferred them to remain full-time working members of the royal family.
For the couple, it's just about preserving their mental health, remaining happy and being able to work in an environment that suits them best.
In Harry and Meghan's bombshell statement last week, they said they wanted to split their time between the UK and North America. That wish appears for now to be granted today, with the Queen saying that all parties agreed on a period of transition in which the Sussexes will spend time in both Canada and Britain. The decision to spend more time in Meghan's adoptive home may stem in part from the relentless media coverage by British tabloids, something Harry and Meghan spoke openly about in an interview last October with their close friend, journalist Tom Bradby.
Because the British tabloids will destroy your life.
But extricating themselves from the royal family is proving complex.
This has never been done before. No one's been half in and half out of the royal family.
Areas of negotiation covering everything from their titles, who funds them, and who will pay their security detail. And at the forefront of negotiations, the need to keep the British taxpayer happy.
He's a royal and that's it. I certainly don't think we should pay for security if he wants to try and remove himself from all of this, but I just don't see how he can.
Last week, the palace was seeking a solution in days, not weeks. In her statement tonight, the Queen conceding that these are complex matters for my family to resolve and there is some more work to be done. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
Well, the countdown is on to the biggest night in movies. Oscar Sunday is less than a month away.
And today we learn the nominees for this year's Academy Awards. RTV6's resident movie guy, Brad Brown, joins us now with a closer look at today's announcement.
Mark and Amanda, always a fun day. The past year saw a wide selection of films do some big business at the box office. Many of those turned that success into big-time nominations for the Oscars today. From comic book icons to old-time Hollywood to a gritty war epic, there will be plenty to talk about between now and Oscar Sunday. Joker leads the way with a total of 11 nominations. That includes Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Joaquin Phoenix, and a slew of technical nods. 10 nominations each for a diverse trio, including the World War I drama 1917, Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the massive Martin Scorsese drama The Irishman. I had a chance to talk with ABC entertainment reporter Chris Connolly today. We started talking about who got left out. A lot of big names got left out of the major acting categories. Was there a most surprising snub of that group that you would look at?
Jennifer freaking Lopez. I was really surprised she wasn't mentioned. I thought given that performance in Hustlers, I certainly thought she'd get a Best Supporting Actress nomination. She wasn't there. Adam Sandler not noted in Best Actor for Uncut Gems. That was a surprise also. So, and no Beyonce in Best Song. That was a bit of a surprise as well. So the Academy always has a few surprises up its sleeves when it nominates its nominees and on Oscar night. So we'll have to see what more surprises lie in store.
Do you ever see a future where they maybe add a 6th spot to these nominations just because the field is often as widely talented as it is?
I think what has to happen is Best Director has to go to 10.
Sure.
I think when you have as many as 10 Best Picture nominees, there's just going to be blood on the floor in Best Director. There are 10 Screenplay nominees. There are 20 Acting nominees. There should be more than 5 Best Director. It wasn't just Greta Gerwig who got overlooked. I think they have to think about expanding that category in particular.
Do you think there's a movie that could have taken that 10th spot that was deserving of one more Best Picture nomination today?
The one that I had written down that I thought would get nominated was Knives Out. On my list of 10, I thought either Knives Out or A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood would have gotten that 10th spot if there was going to be a 10th spot. I was actually surprised they were 9. I expected they were 8. It's a complicated formula the Academy has, but Knives Out would have been the film I expected to see in slot number 10.
No host this year. Do you foresee a future where they ever bring a host back? And if so, shortlist me some names that should be the next host.
I think Justin Timberlake would be a great Oscar host. I think he should host the Oscars the first time they ask him. He should just say yes. I think he would be a phenomenal host, and I hope they have him as early as next year.
Again, a look at the list of performers that got left out. There were multiple former award winners among this group. You could make an entire other show with these performances. Right. There are sure to be plenty of memorable moments from the night as well. Would you not watch a Justin Timberlake Oscars, though?
I think it's a brilliant idea.
I would.
Yeah.
That's great. I had a chance to see 1917 over this past weekend. It is a mind-bending, a stunning piece of cinema. A lot of these Best Picture nominees are out in theaters now, or they're streaming, or they'll be out between now and Oscar Sunday. So if you haven't seen some of them, want to get caught up, certainly get a chance to get out and see some of those before it gets here.
And definitely take his recommendations.
There's listen, that whole list of Best Picture nominees, there's great movies there, a little something for everybody. Check it out.
But I've also heard great things about Knives Out, so it's interesting to hear that that did not make the list.
Funny that you wouldn't expect, funny in a good way, and a lot of these movies here each offer something just a little bit different out of that. Just between the great performances and the great cast and the great directing, it's going to be a fun night by the time it gets here.
All right, Oscar Sunday is February 9th. The 92nd Academy Awards start at 8 p.m. It's all right here on RTV6. For a full list of today's nominations, find the link on the IndyChannel.com and also on your RTV6 app. It's a night we always look forward to.
For all those left off the list.
Oh, look at that. Look who's hoarding all of them.
Yeah. we got them right
That's
here.
where they'll be.
Yes.
So was Tom Hanks in there?
Tom Hanks got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Yeah, so some great performances all around.
Put these over here.
You've racked up.
I don't want them to walk off.
Right.
All right, our temperatures here over the next couple of days, let me get professional again, will be close to 50 degrees, and then we drop off for a couple days before surging on Saturday. And this is a critical time period here. If you want some snow, there's a chance Friday we could see some accumulating snow. It becomes a rain event, though, as we get to Saturday. More on that in a second. Just want to point out the surge of colder air. Follow that, knifing its way through the northern plains and the Midwest and the Great Lakes. Second half of the weekend into early next week. That'll put lows in the teens and highs generally in the 20s. Well, sun breaks in the cloud cover here late today. It's nice to see any sunshine. We'll take it. That's the view to the west this evening, and you still see how far south of west the sun is setting this time of year. 41, that's temperature in Indy. Happens to be our warmest temperature so far today. Temperatures tonight, I think, will bottom out early. Then we'll see slowly rising temperatures overnight. It's 38 in Lafayette, 37 in Crawfordsville. Say hello to Charlie, Dexter, and Pepper. 3 dogs in a chair.
Hey, you guys, what's going on?
Isn't that awesome how they work it out? They've all got their little space. There's no problems, and I bet you when they get up, that seat is warm, and it's a recliner. Thanks to Lynn and Julie for sending in the picture. Dogs going for a walk this evening. You still need something at the back door to clean off all of those paws, in that case 12 paws, as it's a little bit muddy out there. Temperature 46 at noon tomorrow. Afternoon high temperature just above 50. The wind out of the southwest, a little gusty, bringing in the warmer temperatures. Tuesday high temperatures from north to south, well above the average of 35 degrees for this time of year. Wednesday's shower activity will be light. Not expecting much in the way of rain. Certainly nothing that would aggravate flooding. And we'll have to wait until late in the week before a more significant system comes our way. Wednesday temperatures up a little more. 54 in Bloomington and Columbus. As we get to the weekend, Friday, that rain-snow mix. Snow may accumulate a little bit, changes over to rain, and then as the storm system pulls away, it will drag the colder air in back behind it. And that means quite a change from a wet Saturday to a much colder and drier Sunday. Temperatures even on Monday of next week are in the 20s for highs. Lows generally in the teens. It's been a month or so since we've had temperatures that cold. So there's my Oscar nominated.
There you go. Are you going to share them? One for us?
Yes. No. You know, when I thank the Academy, you guys are at the top of the list.
I hope so. Thanks, Kevin, for that. Hey, a couple of big concert announcements today. If you're a classic rock fan, just listen up to this lineup. Foreigner, Kansas, and Europe are coming to Ruoff Music Center on Saturday, July 25th as part of the Jukebox Heroes 2020 tour. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m.
Also coming this summer, pop rock band Matchbox 20 with special guest The Wallflowers. The Matchbox 20 2020 tour comes to Ruoff Music Center on Saturday, August 22nd. Tickets go on sale Friday at noon.
It gets all over your fingers and makes them turn orange. Well, now there's a real use for Cheetos dust. We'll explain coming up here on RTV6.
weekdays from 4:30 to 7.
The truck driver charged with causing a crash that killed a woman and her infant daughter will not go to trial. Bruce Pollard has pled guilty but mentally ill on 3 counts of reckless homicide plus additional charges. Pollard is accused of driving into stopped traffic on I-465 near Keystone Avenue in July, causing a fiery crash that killed 3 people and injured several others. The plea agreement calls for Pollard to be sentenced to 3 to 9 years behind bars. Both sides have agreed to the plea deal, but a judge will have the final say in this. Well, it is that cheesy snack that's tasty, but it can leave your fingers a bright orange color, as you know.
And we are talking about Cheetos, and Frito-Lay is now cashing in on that orange dust that they leave behind on your fingers. It now has an official name, Cheetle. And yeah, Cheetle. And they're putting it all over a new product, ready to eat popcorn. It's available in 2 flavors, cheddar and Flamin' Hot. Another way to get those lovely orange fingers.
I have to say that I tend to lick my fingers after a bag of Cheetos.
Is that the only way to do it?
That's the only way to do it. That's right. So Cheetle and popcorn.
I'd go for it. I'm interested. Yes. I'm interested. Well, drivers say there is confusion once they exit off of I-69 at the Pendleton exit.
All new at 6 o'clock. The issue they say is causing a number of wrecks and what's being done to keep people safe.
But first on the Now, Indy, progress continues for the Handler Butler University mascot Blue 3. The milestone reached today after his kidney transplant. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back.